D. On July 26, 2018, as many of you may well know, Mr. Dennis's YouTube account was wrongfully terminated by members of the YouTube team and Google. Preceding the termination of his YouTube channel, Mr. Dennis was an avid YouTube creator. He created and uploaded video content to his YouTube channel, Willie D Live, on a regular basis. YouTube notified Mr. Dennis that his YouTube account had been terminated as a result of receiving his third community guideline strike within a 3-month period. Following YouTube's notification, Mr. Dennis's account was terminated and rendered permanently inaccessible. Mr. Dennis subsequently appealed YouTube's decision, and Mr. Dennis's appeal, unfortunately and wrongfully, was denied. Mr. Dennis believes YouTube unfairly and unjustly determined that his video content violated community guidelines, namely YouTube's hate speech policy and spam policy. Let it be clear, Mr. Dennis vehemently denies promoting violence against or exciting hatred against any individuals or groups based on race, religion, ethnic origin, national origin, gender, disability, sexual orientation, or gender identity on his YouTube channel. In fact, Mr. Dennis exemplifies the exact opposite of hate and prides himself on being a voice of the people, by the people, and for the people. Especially for those who do not have the platform to vocalize their discontent with censorship, discrimination, injustice, and bigotry. Is he a voice of dissent? Yes. Is he a voice for public change and political change? Yes. Is he a voice for social change? Yes. Is he a voice for hate? Absolutely not. He is also a voice for a countless number of other black YouTubers who have been victimized by YouTube and Google's action to restrict access to their material and content in bad faith, in a discriminatory manner, in breach of agreement, and against good faith and fair dealings. In addition, YouTube's negligence and interference with business relationships should not go unchecked. As stated in YouTube's hate speech policy, it is, and I quote, okay to criticize speech that is racism and hate speech, in which Mr. Dennis did in the Maxine Waters video. And not all speech that can be perceived as mean or insulting is hate speech, which may include anti-establishment rhetoric. In America, there is a such thing as free speech. Mr. Dennis believes YouTube is violating its own policy and not adhering to the terms of service and community guidelines by falsely and wrongfully labeling his video content hate speech. Mr. Dennis strongly feels he is being discriminated against based on his race and his social and political speech, and that such censorship should not be permitted under the law. YouTube clearly and demonstrably censors political and social postings and targets liberal and black YouTube channels and storefronts. As a result, Mr. Dennis is calling for a change in legal policy and is calling for Congress to regard YouTube and websites like it places of public accommodation, such that civil rights laws apply to them. Mr. Dennis is demanding a sit-down with Google and YouTube executives to right the wrongful termination of his YouTube channel and compensate him for his financial loss and monetary damages. If YouTube refuses to do so, Mr. Dennis is prepared to move forward with a civil lawsuit against Google and YouTube. At this time, I would like to call community activists, Mr. Deric Muhammad to the podium to make a statement.
Thank you, my brother. Peace and blessings, family. I stand here in defense of our brother Willie D and all other black YouTube content providers, and not just black content providers, but those content providers who are not afraid to put out there and post unadulterated truth. There's a saying that says that he who controls the diameter of your thinking also controls the circumference of your activity. When we look at our youth and we see that which we could perceive to be ignorant activity, it is only because they consumed ignorant information. So the oppressed in this country have always had a hard time producing strong voices in the media. Because when you step out as a strong voice for your community, it's only a matter of time before you are attacked. To speak for the least, the last, and the lost, and the oppressed in this country is a risk. And our brother Willie D is one of many who's taken that risk through the content that he puts out on his YouTube channels and all of the other media platforms that he has authority over. The word that we have to use here that would be most appropriate is censorship. It's censorship. And for many years, we complained about ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, and all of these other national platforms who we believe was given to us censored information. Well, guess what? We now live in a day and time where platforms like YouTube are becoming just as guilty, and we know it. So as a community, we stand behind Willie D. And we say, give this man and other black YouTubers free reign to give us unadulterated truth, because that's the only thing that's going to make our activity better in our community. So no censorship. And the other thing I want to say is, how can you, from a cultural standpoint, YouTube, make a fair and unbiased judgment about the content put out by black YouTubers for the black community when you yourself have a dearth of black talent in your employee pool in the first place? Your diversity, which if we were to put it over here, and if we were to put your user base over here, we believe that black people who subscribe to YouTube channels deserve better. We deserve more. So again, on behalf of our community, we stand behind Willie D Live and all other black YouTubers. And the message to other black YouTubers, just as Willie D is taking a stand, take a stand. And if you don't have the testicular fortitude to do it on your own, just simply share this video and get behind the brother who's standing up for you. In this country, we have a real concern about this becoming a police state. But before they're able to control you in the streets, they have to control the information that is fed to you through platforms like YouTube. When they can no longer fool you, they can no longer rule you. And when you shut down channels like Willie D Live, then that's just another way that you try to fool us by controlling the information that comes into our communities. Thank you. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. At this time, we want to bring before you Brother Willie D. He needs no introduction.
Thank you, Deric. First off, I want to thank everybody for coming out under these adverse weather conditions. I want to thank my brothers for standing with me right here. They've always stood with me. Deric Muhammad, Vonnie Don, soldiers in the war for free speech, freedom of expression. YouTube like Google, prides themselves off of free speech, allowing people to speak freely about issues that concern them. However, when you look at their practices are contrary to what their so-called mission statement is.
Right.
I want Google to know, YouTube to know, and all of those other platforms out there to know that truth is not hate speech. It's important to note that I'm not standing by myself in this. There's a lot of other YouTubers who are having the same problem with Google and YouTube. It's no secret that they're being targeted. YouTube's discriminatory practices have not just made me a victim, but it's made countless victims who don't really have the voice that I have. And I'm gonna speak for them right now. And so allow me to put this into just precise context. There are dozens of other black content providers on YouTube who has been harassed by YouTube with multiple strikes against their accounts, with many being terminated for simply reporting the news truthfully without a hidden agenda. Many of those channels are informative and promotes an objective to uplift the black community. Yet, they are constant targets of YouTube's biased, unethical mistreatment, which any reasonable person could only surmise is an attempt to control their message or run them off the platform. I first received a strike against Willie D Live from YouTube's violation community on April 17, 2017. The problem with their assessment is that the video I posted was a national news story shared by thousands of other YouTube subscribers and content providers, including Fox News, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, and others. So what's the difference? YouTube has allowed and continues to allow a number of non-black YouTubers to share hate speech and to get away with posting videos of murder, blood, pornography, and other despicable acts, none which can be found on Willie D Live. But they're allowed to keep their channels and mine gets terminated. Why would YouTube do that? It's simple. Racism, America's Achilles heel. YouTube claims to encourage freedom of speech and defend everyone's right to express their point of view, even if unpopular. But the truth is, Google owns YouTube, and with only 2.5% of their workforce being black, YouTube's employment diversity is disproportionate to its user base. So not only do we well-meaning content providers have to worry about being false flagged by trolls, but black content providers in particular, such as myself, are at a high risk of being targeted by employees who may not agree with our message because they don't share our unique experience in America. The vast majority of YouTube videos are uploaded by content providers. So I say to YouTube and Google, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Truth is not hate speech. Thank you.
At this time, we want to open up the floor for any questions that you may have at this time. For myself, Willie D, or Mr. Deric Muhammad.
I have a question. What plan of action do you intend on taking from this date going forward? On behalf of yourself and other content creators. Okay, yes, sir.
Well, in the next coming days, we'll have negotiations with YouTube and Google. We'll reach out to them, and it really depends on what transpires. But like I said earlier in the opening statement, if YouTube and or Google refuses to do what Willie D demands, then we have no choice but to move forward with the civil action. We'll take a look at all of the different allegations and accusations. There are a number of causes of action. We'll take a look at forum selection and what we want to do and how we want to proceed. So at this time, we ask Google and YouTube to do the right thing by Willie D and by the countless number of other black YouTubers and liberal storefronts who have been undergoing this situation for months, and in some cases, for years. So Google, let's do the right thing.
Are there any plans to change your platform to
You know, that's a good question. I had a backup channel called Certified TV, and people were telling me, hey, why don't you just start a new channel? You know, they shut down my Certified TV channel also. And they were like, well, why don't you just start a new channel? Why would I do that when my message is not going to change? All they're going to do is sit back and laugh at me like, yeah, go ahead and build it up so they can tear it down. I'm not stupid. You fooled me once, shame on you. You're not going to fool me twice. Any other questions?
Yes, how many times did they say that you violated?
You know, I've been fighting YouTube and Google since April 2017. In fact, like I said in my statement, it was April 17, 2017. And I'm talking like numerous times. I can't even count the times that they've put a strike against my account. I've had to appeal. Some appeals were granted. Some appeals they flat out rejected. And here's the thing, like I was saying in my statement, is that, you know, these people that work at Google, they're human beings just like you and I.
Right. And
they come with their own set of prejudices and beliefs. And so if, for instance, someone who is maybe a Trump supporter, it's a well-known fact that I despise Donald Trump. So somebody who might be a Donald Trump supporter who may come across my page and say, you know what, I don't like this guy, let's strike him up. You know, and they go out and just grab one of my videos and then come up with some kind of crazy reason for giving me a strike. The rules, their community guidelines are very ambiguous. And so it leaves a lot of latitude for them to decide on their own behalf what is offensive and what's not. What's offensive to me may not be offensive to you. See, that's where the trick comes in. Mm-hmm. And so this is how they're able to get away with basically just bullying people. They really are just bullying a lot of YouTubers. And many YouTubers, all they do is YouTube. They do YouTube for a living. They are YouTubers. I have other things that I do, but many of these people are YouTubers, and they make a living doing this. And Google and YouTube would just snatch the rug from under their feet, their financial feet, and have their family out in the streets. They don't give a damn, you know, just because they don't agree with something